When you hear the word franchise, what pops into your head? Probably a fast food joint, right? Or maybe a coffee shop. A proven playbook you buy into. But today, we're going to look at a totally different blueprint, the TCL model. Now, this comes from a company that works in some really complex, highly regulated industries, and here's the kicker. It wasn't designed for success. It was designed from a post-mortem of failure. Let's dig in and see what makes this thing tick.
And this is what's so fascinating. It's the starting point. Most people would ask, how can we grow like crazy? But the creators of this model, they asked, why do so many businesses in our field just fail? That one little shift in perspective, that's the foundation for literally everything else we're going to talk about. It's a system built from the ground up to stop the most common disasters before they even happen.
Okay, so where does this whole designing backward from failure idea show up first? Well, you follow the money. Let's talk about the economic engine here, because it's probably the most radical thing about this whole setup. We're talking about a complete shift away from paying to play to getting paid only when you get results.
And just so we're all on the same page, let's quickly remember how the traditional model works, right? Usually the franchisor makes a huge chunk of its cash just by selling the right to open a store. We're talking big, hefty fees, selling off exclusive territories, and all of this happens before a single customer even walks through the door.
And boom, here's where you can really see the night and day difference. On one side, you've got the standard model. All the money flows up front to the main company. But on the other side, with the TCL model, they only make a dime when their franchisees actually deliver the work. And, this is crucial, the customer accepts it and pays the bill. It's a totally different ballgame. If the franchisee doesn't win, TCL doesn't win. Period.
So let's be super clear about what this means. All those typical hurdles, they're just gone. There's no massive check you have to write just to get your foot in the door. There are no bidding wars over the best territories. It completely flips the script. It's not about selling you a dream. It's about building a partnership that's 100% based on actual performance.
And what's the result of all this? It's one powerful word: alignment. Think about it. When your financial success is completely, totally, inescapably tied to the success of your partners, your goals have to be the same. You're not a seller and a buyer anymore. You're two teams pulling the exact same rope in the exact same direction. All right, so we've talked about the money, the why of the system. Now let's get into the how. And this brings us to another huge difference. TCL isn't just handing you a playbook and wishing you luck. No, they're giving you a live, breathing operating system. Think about it this way. A playbook, that's a binder you get on day one, right? It's static. It sits on the shelf. But an operating system, that's running 24/7 in the background, actively managing the most critical parts of the business for you. TCL isn't just giving you a recipe, they're providing the entire kitchen. Sales, compliance, even chasing down the payment.
And a huge part of this operating system is this idea they call centralized risk absorption. Now, I know that sounds like a mouthful, but the idea is actually simple and really powerful. The main company basically acts like a giant shield. It takes on the big, scary systemic risks so that the individual franchisees don't get wiped out by something they couldn't possibly control.
And what kind of risks are we talking about here? We're talking about the big ones, the ones that keep you up at night. What if a huge client just doesn't pay their bill? What if some complex government regulation changes overnight? What if the market prices for your service suddenly crash? In most franchise models, guess what? That's your problem. Here, the central platform is designed to take that hit for you. So why does this matter so much? What's the real benefit? It frees up the franchisee to do what they do best. Instead of spending all their time being a part-time lawyer, a part-time accountant, and a part-time debt collector, they can put 100% of their focus on operational excellence, on managing their people and just getting the job done.
Okay, so this brings us to the bigger picture, the whole philosophy behind this thing. When you look at the economics, the operations, the way they handle risk, it all points to a culture that values discipline over hype. This is all about building something that lasts, not just something that looks good on a press release.
And a system like this is also built for a very specific kind of person. Its very structure tends to weed out the passive investors who are just looking to park some cash and get a quick return. Instead, it pulls in the hands-on operators, the people who are really ready to roll up their sleeves, manage a team, and work inside a disciplined system. It's a model that selects for genuine commitment. This focus on discipline also changes the whole game when it comes to growth. A lot of businesses scale based on who you know, right? Personal relationships and trust. But TCL takes a different approach. They focus on scaling institutional processes. This makes the whole network way more robust, easy to audit, and able to withstand regulatory scrutiny. And in the kinds of industries they're in, that's not just a nice to have, it's absolutely critical.
And this right here, this is the core idea boiled down to a single sentence. Instead of just hoping everyone does the right thing, you build a system where the incentives and the processes make doing the right thing the easiest, most logical, and most profitable choice for everybody. The structure itself creates the integrity. You don't have to rely on trust alone.
So when you put all these pieces together, the money, the OS, the risk shield, the philosophy, what do you get? You get a model that is fundamentally built to last. This isn't just a random collection of cool features. It's an entire architecture designed to be defensible for the long haul.
This chart is a really great way to see it all side by side. Look at the traditional model. Monetization comes from selling territories and fees. The TCL model, it's all about performance and output. Risk? Traditional models push it out to the franchisee. TCL pulls it in and absorbs it centrally. Scaling? It's individuals versus institutions. And governance? It's the difference between relying on trust and a dusty manual versus enforcing alignment through the very structure of the business.
And that's really the bottom line here. An architecture like this is built for long-term defensibility, not for chasing short-term fees. It's just incredibly hard to copy because it means you have to give up the easy money up front and instead choose the disciplined path of building something that can actually stand the test of time.
So I'll leave you with this to chew on. In a business world that is so often obsessed with explosive growth, with moving fast and breaking things, what happens when a system is deliberately, methodically built for stability over speed? How does that change our whole definition of what success really looks like?